Obviously, same thoughts kind of as Saturday night. Really missed an opportunity, obviously. There isn't anybody more disappointed than myself and our football team. But it's a new week, a new opportunity, working to be 1-0. Looking back at it, again, it gets back, I say it every week, but complimentary football in all three phases, consistency and performance. There were some positive things to build on, but again, just consistency in, establishing drives, explosive plays, tackling, getting off the field on 4th down, converting 3rd downs. But there's still a lot of football left to be played, and we're still playing meaningful games, and that's very important. And I've liked this team's approach so far, and you can tell by what their temperament is after the game. And there's a lot of individuals that hurt, and very rightfully so. And again, that's a direct correlation to your investment. But I believe in our kids, and believe in our program and our system. And I continue to say it, and I'll always say it is, we live in a week-to-week season, and there's natural adversities that a long football season brings about. And it's just like a family, and you have to continue to manage those adversities. Half of your industry loses each week. So you have to keep things in perspective, and the thing you can't do is you can't be overwhelmed by the emotion of a loss like that. You have to work to get better. You have to correct it. I said all the things about that and regarding that Saturday night, but you have to learn from it and move on and make sure that you're better for it and correct the deficiencies and the mistakes and make sure they don't ever happen again. But football season is made up of adversities, just like life. We always say football's life, just sped up a lot faster. So how do you manage that? How do you manage it from your competitive character and your character? So, we'll bounce back. We'll have a great week. We have a great test. Coach Satterfield has done a great job with that football program. They play exceptionally hard, and it's all about us, and it's working to be 1-0. I know there's a lot of talk out there. I met with Jalen Hurd this morning, and we had a conversation, and we have a great relationship. And Jaylen has informed me that he intends to transfer, and I support him on that. And I'm very thankful for everything that he's done for our football program. But it's all about our football program and our football team and moving forward from this point forward. So I'll answer any questions you may have. One other thing before I do, I know it's going to come up. Shy Tuttle. We've lost Shy Tuttle for the year, and I feel really feel for that young man. He worked so hard to get himself back into playing condition and worked so hard and so diligently in the training room. And he's had a knee injury, and so he'll miss the rest of the season. And he'll be going through rehab throughout the course of spring practice, and we'll see how it goes. But I love him to death, and it's very unfortunate. It's the part of that adversity that we talk about in a football season. So I wanted to make sure you had that update.
Start Rick Russo, Seth, and John.
What's the situation with Jaylen? Is it a byproduct, Butch, of the losses and what's happened this season with regard to injuries, etc.? Or is it something that the young man has been thinking about for a while? And do his teammates possibly perceive that as quitting?
Well, I think it's a combination of a long football season, been contemplating that, and I don't want to speak for Jaylen. There's a lot of things that go into that decision, and I guess the only thing I'll say is I value our relationship and have a lot of respect for that young man and wish him nothing but the best.
Seth?
I'm just a little more on Hurd. Is some of the, unhappiness he's feeling, were there promises made to him at some point with some schematic changes that just didn't occur?
No.
Okay. The next thing is, do you feel with the number of penalties that have occurred with this team this year, the turnovers, is there a lack of discipline on this football team and maybe a lack of leadership? And what is the temperature like in the locker room? I mean, are they close together right now? Is there some divide? What's going on there?
Yeah, and I think those are all good questions. And I think when you lose a few games, everyone wants to point fingers and think the sky is falling and, something's on fire and all that. I do think our football team is close, but I think there's a separation, there has to be a separation between friendship and leadership. There's a big difference there in holding each other accountable. And, we meet periodically on Sundays, and we met Sunday, and I thought we probably had one of the most productive team meetings we've had in a very long time. And a lot of it was player-oriented, and our players left that meeting feeling very, very good. And I think it's healthy. It's like a family coming together and sitting down over a dinner. So I think that, in terms of, we always talk about leadership and leadership development, and a lot of times you have to hold your peers accountable, and it starts with us as coaches as well. But if you talk to any coach, you want to be a player-coach team. And a lot of times, if we're peers and I'm talking to you, that's going to go a long way than a player and a coach talking about it. So I feel very good about that. In terms of the discipline, we pride ourselves in being a disciplined football team and a football program. I do think we're disciplined, but it is frustrating because that's part of our identity, and I've broken down every single penalty and why do they occur, and are they combative penalties, are they effort penalties, are they lack of discipline penalties, and it's something we have to get corrected, and it's something that we haven't done in the past. If this was a 4-year trend, then I would say yes, but it's not. I know it's important to our players, it's important to our coaches, and it's very, very unfortunate, but we do have to get those things corrected. They'll not be tolerated. That's something we take great pride in.
One more thing
John
on
Adams.
Dobson.
Let's start with John Bryce, John Adams.
Not my primary question, but for clarity, Jonathan Conbo still a member of your team, or he?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That's why we don't push the panic button. He lost in a FIFA game, and those were soccer cleats that he tweeted out.
Thank you. And then on Jaylen, he was such a significant part of your 2014 signing class, an in-state guy. From a perception standpoint, what would you say? How do you sort of combat, I guess, the outside perception that you've got this heralded in-state guy, probably the biggest commitment at the time he committed that you had received, and then that's maybe a dozen people gone from that class?
Sure.
How have you guys maybe grown in your evaluation process since then?
Well, I think all you have to do is look at Derek Barnett, who's from Nashville. He leads the nation in sacks, and he's 3 sacks short of tying Reggie White's record in 3 short seasons. So I think all you have to do is look at an individual like Derek Barnett. We're constantly evolving our recruiting profile and competitive individuals and individuals like that, but every individual has a different circumstance, has a different reason for doing what they're doing, and that's the last question I'm gonna answer on Jaylen. I wish him well and hope that he finds everything that he's looking for.